Okay. Is this thing on? Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm filling in for the mayor. Let's get this thing started. It's 6 o'clock Verizon time, so I'm looking at Bill. If you can hear me, if you can't hear me, give me the thumbs up. Just a reminder to everyone speaking in the microphone. We've had other folks say have trouble hearing. So with that being said, let's kick this thing off, and I will ask Bill Matheny to give our invocation and Bill Bilbrey to give our pledge. Please stand.
Face flag, please. Pledge allegiance.
Thank you, Bill and Bill. Ms. Walker, roll call.
Honorable Mayor Fowler, Honorable Councilman Bilbrey,
Present.
Honorable Councilman Graves,
Present.
Honorable Councilwoman Hawkins,
Present.
Honorable Vice Mayor Hill.
Present. Start with our agenda. Item number 1, consider approval of the agenda as presented. I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the agenda with an addition. We have been made aware this week of an HR matter that we need to add as item number 8. That will authorize the mayor to engage outside counsel to help with an HR matter. So with that motion, I need a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes. Item number 2, you've had the minutes presented to you. I need to motion and a second. Any discussion of any changes?
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Bilbrey, got a second.
Second.
Mr. Graves, Ms. Walker.
Yes.
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 Yes. Minutes are approved. Item number 3, consider approval to suspend the reading of ordinance 705-24, 706-24, and resolution 361-24. This is just to suspend the reading of those ordinances and resolution. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Graves,
Second.
Mr. Bilbrey, Ms. Walker.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes. That motion is approved. Item number 4, consider approval on first reading ordinance 705-24 to amend the municipal code to amend Title 3, Chapter 2, Section 3-202, which is the imposition of fines, penalties, and costs. This is with regards to some old tickets. Ms. Walker, if you want to give us a little background on this.
This is to let the judge purge tickets that are 10 years or older. We currently use Fox Collections, and due to debt policies, they are not allowed to collect past 10 years.
Purging tickets over 10 years. How many? Do we have an idea how much we're purging here?
I have no idea.
So this is basically just giving the judge the authority to if he gets a dated one, just to take it off out of the system and just.
He would, yes, he just dismisses it.
Okay.
I make the motion.
Mr. Bilbrey with the motion. I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Walker?
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes. Item number 5, consider approval of Green Mountain Water Change Order 1, which is the final, appears to be Mr. Bradshaw. Negative.
In the cost of the total contract for the Green Mountain Water Project. The reduction is in the amount of $17,610. This brings the final contract price for the contractor to $370,190 for the total contract.
A decrease. A decrease. A decrease. Need a motion.
I make a motion. to
Mr. Bill,
approve.
Mr. Bilbrey moves to approve.
Second.
Mr. Graves seconds. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Ms. Walker?
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes. And that finalizes everything, correct, Keith, on that?
It does. We'll close that contract and be finished.
Good to put a check mark next to something. Item number 6, consider approval of resolution 361-24 to amend the city to amend the city charter. Mr. Morrison.
This change at the recommendation of the city attorney to add language to include leases in real property to our charter as a power of the council. Is there anything?
Just that, as Mr. Graves pointed out in the work session yesterday, there's a typo in the section 2 where we need to add the word lease. So it'll say to acquire, dispose of, lease, or otherwise hold in trust or otherwise real property. So if we can add that word before you approve it, please.
Thank you to the both of you. Need a motion?
Make a motion to approve with all changes.
Mr. Bilbrey with motion. Second. I'll make the motion to second it to include the word lease in that resolution. Any discussion? I will say, Mr. Morrison, when give me an example of when we are going to be leasing property. We've discussed several different instances, but give me an example.
The reason for doing this is the request of the soccer complex to do a long-term lease on the property, so you can't even consider that without this in there. We feel we need to have that before we address that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Any other discussion? Hearing no discussion. Ms. Walker?
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes.
Honorable Hawkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes. That resolution is approved. Item number 7, consider approval of first reading ordinance 706-24 to adopt a new employee handbook. Mr. Morrison, you want to speak to that?
This was at council request to rewrite the handbook. I think you all have discussed looking at.
And the draft that we have before us is drafted by MTAS. Is kind of a go-to, their go-to standard.
It is, so they've took it and went through ours and tried to incorporate things that were in ours that they felt were left out of it. So if there's anything else you want in it, we can still adjust, change, and modify right now.
And you feel this current handbook meets what we are currently operating under for all city employees, correct?
I think it does, yes.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we table this one. This handbook is 50-some-odd pages. I've been reading for a considerable time, trying to understand it. It is a complete rewrite, and there are things in there that I don't think the council approved or has already approved under other conditions. And I think we need to table this and let's give the council more time to review it and study it.
It's a motion to table.
Second.
Mr. Bilbrey with the second. Any other discussion? I will echo what Mr. Graves says. It's a lengthy document. I've not had a chance to get deep into it either. So a little extra time. Mr. Morrison, there's nothing burning us or deadlines or anything like that. This needs to be done. This is just a rewrite, a refresh of the employee handbook.
No, it's just a council request, so whenever y'all are ready.
Sounds like a plan. Any other discussions? Hearing none. Ms. Walker?
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes?
Honorable Hawkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes. That was item number 7. On to item number 8, which was the addition to our agenda. This week we've had a few HR items that have come to light, and on the advice of council, we need to use and engage an outside firm to help us with some HR matters. Mr. Rader, do you want to speak to that? Maybe a sentence or two.
Sure. Thanks, Vice Mayor. So we have a policy that says in certain circumstances we need to engage outside counsel to look into it, and so I've recommended that the council do that. You can use anybody that you want to, but I've recommended to you that Public Entity Partners has a panel of attorneys that they use in these circumstances, and there's a firm, Robinson, Smith and Wells, out of Chattanooga, who has agreed to assist the council in this regard, and so I'd request a motion from one of you to authorize the mayor to engage Robinson, Smith and Wells. Their rate is very reasonable. I've shared it with you privately, and I don't imagine that it would be burdensome in that regard.
I may have missed part of your discussion. Did you state a limit in that?
They have indicated that the absolute most that it would be $5,000. I share that with you all privately, but you can make that limit as part of the motion, and that would be fine with them.
I will make that motion, including the cap.
I'll second the motion. And just to reiterate, the motion is to approve the Mayor Fowler to engage the law firm of Robinson, Smith and Wells to assist with an HR matter and the investigation into an HR matter up to a limit of $5,000. Any other discussions? Hearing no other discussions, Miss Walker, I'm so sorry.
Honorable Bilbrey,
Yes.
Honorable Graves,
Yes?
Honorable Hawkins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hill.
Yes. Sorry about that. That brings us to the conclusion. Before I turn it over to the city administrator's report, just want to announce. I probably should let Keith do the announcing, but this is our first month with a full-time fire chief, and so with that, just congratulations to David Judd as our full-time fire chief, first time here. So thank you, Mr. Judd. Mr. Morrison, anything else?
The only thing I have, City Hall will be closed January 15th in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Department heads, do y'all have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. Item number 8, hearing of citizens or delegations. Just a brief moment in our meeting to stop, pause, and let anyone come forth and say anything. If you do come, please announce your name, address, and the mic is yours. Yes, sir.
My name is Donald Willoughby. Live on 157 Joy Lane. I've had a city inspector come by my property to stop a person that lives behind me. He's got big rocks by the road on a curve, and vehicles have hit it. And why they haven't been moved, I don't know, because one of these times it's going to do damage to vehicles. This individual also has the back of his shed to the property line instead of being 5 feet away from the property line. He's built things on his property without building codes or inspections. And I know I've had to build things on my property and I've been inspected, but I don't understand, why do I have to have them when someone don't have to for these issues? And that's been over 6-7 months ago, and nothing's been done or moved or nothing. So I don't see why I have to put up with city code when other people don't have to. That's my question for you people. How's it different? I've lived in that neighborhood for 15 years. He's been there 2 years longer than me.
Thank you for your comments. My comment is all regulations, rules should be applied uniformly. I mean, Mr. Lane, I saw you wanting to stand, or if you want to speak to that now, or if not, we're happy to refer this to you and let you handle it outside of the meeting. Totally your call.
I will. I understand that before my tenure, there was a building built, and there probably wasn't a building permit issued for that. I wasn't here then, so I don't know. This guy and his neighbors had an ongoing feud for many years.
Uh-oh.
They've been to court, and they've been all kind of legal battles. And we've tried to help him. We've actually got the power company to move some poles and things for us. It's just, it doesn't seem to matter what we do. If we're not doing something against his neighbor.
Okay.
Sir, it's just like speeding on the roadway. Sometimes people don't get caught and they get away with it. Doesn't mean it's okay. Doesn't mean it's right, but it means that they didn't get caught and it got through. And if a mistake was made in the past or something got done and it wasn't caught at the time, the city can't go back many years and try to undo that situation. Again, I don't know what your situation is or the factual. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what your situation is. I don't think that you can use the city as a pawn in a dispute with your neighbor, respectfully. If you have a problem with your neighbor, you have a private remedy to go to Chancery Court.
That's okay. Mr. Lane, I'd ask you to get with Mr. Morrison after the meeting or sometime. Just make sure that the codes are being held to as best as we can. I get that previous inspectors did it different than you. Just get with Mr. Okay. Well, he's referring to something, some boulder or something. Let's just make sure that there is not some sort of current active infraction going on right at the moment. Thank you, Mr. Lane. Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll close the open hearing session, and our next meeting is, Mr. Morrison, help me when our next meeting is?
February 13th, 2024.
February 13th, 2024. Thank you all for attending, and I'll take a motion to adjourn. And now I'll make a second. All in favor say aye or run away real fast. Aye. Thank you all for attending. You all have a great evening.